Hello, welcome to Landlording TV, teaching you how to organize and run a profitable rental empire. I am your host, Justin Palma, and today we are in the office. We're talking organization, which is one of my favorite topics, and we are talking about tenant folders. This is an extremely important stack of papers to have organized and ready for access at any given moment. And we're going to talk about why in just a second. Let's get started. Okay, tenant files. Why do I have to be so organized? One word, eviction. Now, what the tenant file is going to be every single paper that you have anything to do with this tenant, and you're going to need access to every single paper for the eviction just to make it as streamlined and painless as possible. So, what are we actually putting in these tenant files? First piece of paper you get from the tenant is the completed rental application. That's going to have some extremely important information on it, like their employer, the date of birth, social security number, family members, other things like that. But mainly that information is vital because come eviction time, if you're going to get a judgment on this tenant to reclaim some of your money and have the government help you get some of that money back, that's all information that is extremely necessary. And if you lose a rental application, that's going to make getting a judgment or enforcing it extremely difficult. Next, you want your copy of the rental agreement because that is most certainly going to come up in court. You want a photocopy of every check, yes, every single check. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One, it's important because, well, what I like to do is when I do my bookkeeping and rent check is www.getrentcheck.com. I will do everything all at once, so it takes as little amount of time as possible. So as rent checks are coming in, I'll photocopy them with the envelope on it on the same page, and then I'll actually, at the end of the month, when it's time for me to do my invoices, I'll actually write down, okay, here's when that check came in, here's how much. But the second reason you want to do that is bank account numbers, because that is also going to help you get access to money through a judgment. And that was actually a tip from my attorney, which was a good one. So yeah, a couple of reasons. And then, God forbid, if you aren't using RentCheck, get www.getrentcheck.com. You can, and you're just writing it down on paper and you lost that, at least you have a paper trail now of the income that's come in. So it's always good to have that stuff around. So again, photocopy of every envelope for the postmark date. And like I said before, I'll photocopy the check and the envelope on one piece of paper. And you want the postmark date on there so that, like for me, that's when I actually charge late periods is based on when it was postmarked. Because you should not be collecting rent, you should be invoicing and having rent mailed to you. Every letter you send them and they send you. So if they send you any letters, mean or nice, I put just every piece of paper you could possibly ever need just goes in there. All, talks back and forth. A photocopy of every completed repair request, because that's something that is very typically kind of thrown back at you in case of eviction. And the signed move-out letter and move-out checklist. Now, all these documents, the rental applications, rental agreements, invoicing, all that is going to be in RentCheck. That's our official landlord software. And those features aren't out yet, but they are going to be out really shortly. So make sure you're on the landlording.tv newsletter. Then you'll be notified about it and you'll get a big discount because it's really nice to have all these forms just ready to print and ready to go at any given time, and makes everything a lot easier. What do you need? So first, I like a label maker. Here's my label maker. If you've read the book, or if you haven't, you should read it. It's called Getting Things Done by David Allen. He highly suggests a label maker because it just makes writing labels a little easier and cleaner to look at. You want 3 or 5 tab hanging folders. Here's an example, looks like that. This is from Staples. Next you'll need hanging folder storage, anything from cardboard to a nice metal filing cabinet. Here's an example of a cardboard one. I think it was like 15 bucks for 10 boxes this big. I actually use these for previous tenants and old documents. So as I'm going through my 2009 taxes, I'll be putting all my 2009 documents in here, and then my filing cabinet is nice and clean for 2010. Yes, I like organization. And that's actually another tip by David Allen. Because if you have any mental blocks of putting papers in and it stresses you out that it's a mess, then you'll just start to subconsciously not want to do it, and you will start to not do it. So you want to keep that stuff clean. It really doesn't take long, and it makes you happy. You need a photocopier, but I just did a quick search on Amazon.com for all-in-one printers, and they start at 70 bucks. But it's definitely something you're going to want to have around. And just copying documents in general, it's good for that. And that is a tenant folder. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get set up initially. It'll take you a little bit of time, but once you have a system for it and kind of a home for everything, so you have your place for current tenants, you have a little spot to move your previous tenants to, you have your label maker, extra folders around. It's actually really, really easy, and it really does like kind of clear your mind, and you're more less stressed out looking around at papers that aren't organized. And it's just comforting to know all your stuff exists in one place and you are ready for it if you have to go to court. So that's it. That's tenant folders. I can't stress enough how important they are. You should definitely be using them. And that is that.